All right, we're back. It's another session. It's another conversation. It's Comics Conspiracy with GM Paul. We got Duke on the
Hey,
art, and we got Human Ramp or Farmer Ramp, whichever one, who's going to be a dad soon.
Hello.
Okay, and we got some really interesting topics this week. But first, I want to say to everybody at home, thank you for joining us. Please like, share, and comment to your heart's content. It doesn't have to be good, but it has to come from the heart. There it is. The truth will go a whole lot longer here than anything else. All right, so you guys have anything you want to talk about before we get into today's topics?
Oh, put us on the spot right away, huh? Talk.
What are you drawing today, Duke?
I'm working on a sketch of, see if I can better. Yeah, I'm working on a sketch of like the Red Skull versus Captain America.
Right
That's
now,
cool.
it is really cool. But right now, with the line work only that I can see, it looks like Captain America is getting pulled over by the Red Skull as a cop.
Well, it's very, very loose right now.
License and registration.
Yep, exactly. All right,
We're not
cool.
doing Civil War again, are we?
No. But we do have some pretty interesting topics today. We're going to be going into the Avengers. We're going to be talking about the Hulk, and we're going to be finishing it up with the absolute execution of the Punisher as a character. I don't think you could destroy a character more completely than how Marvel has done it to him. So if you're going for absolute completeness, well done. Like this guy, like Punisher should probably stay dead more than Uncle Ben after this one. Like it is done.
Yeah, we'll get there. There's whoo.
Yeah, that's heavy. It's heavy.
Ooh.
But we got some Hulk in there, and we're going to have, starting it off, we're going to be talking about the Avengers.
All right.
How good is that?
Issue number 1.
And we're going to be mining this bad boy for an amazing plot that we could use plausibly and rationally in today's comics from this actual comic, the very first appearance of the Avengers. How cool is that, guys?
I think it's cool.
I got some ways I want to take this. But first, let's do a quick synopsis of this and how the Avengers were formed. Just like in the movie, Loki's up to his, fantastic tricks and whatnot. And he's trying to get Thor to come out because he wants to take out Thor. And we have this group of teens here that were called the Team Brigade. There we go. Words are hard sometimes. And they start radioing out to the Fantastic Four. Fortunately for Earth, Ant-Man and Wasp and Iron Man, they get together with Thor and they start to team up and they form inadvertently what we know as the Avengers. This was the beginning part of the Avengers. He's trying to frame Hulk, as you can see, as usual. World hates Hulk. They're scared of Hulk because they don't know. And there's Iron Man fighting the Hulk there. And then we have maybe our biggest team up in Marvel history right here in Avengers 1.
Take note. No Captain America.
No Captain America. He was not an original Avenger.
I think he's not in until issue 4. I think it's 4.
It's something like that. Yeah.
I think he's still on ice at that time.
He might still be, right? He might still be. So I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the there we go. We'll right to there. That sounds great. Boom.
Cool.
There's that artwork.
Okay. So my crux on this whole thing for a plot is obviously the Team Brigade. That's my central focus point. I think that is plot gold just waiting to happen. Who these kids were. I mean, we know who Rick Jones is, right? He was the leader, okay?
Correct.
He got them all together. So we know who Rick Jones is ad nauseum. But I mean, who the rest of these kids were, what they represent, and who they could be in a modern context is absolute gold. And let's not forget Loki and how bad that guy can hold a grudge, okay? He's going to hold a grudge till the cows come home against every single person that was involved in him getting thrown in a lead cell in this one, right? A lead line cell.
100%. Right. Team Brigade only showed up a couple of times, or more than a couple, but there was not a lot of Team Brigade. Now they've come back recently, as recent as I think 2011, but they have not really been a mainstay in the Marvel comic.
Does it say who's the exact roster is with them? Or does it change up?
So they change up a lot. Now the Team Brigade, the most recent was and probably the most name worthy these days is America Chavez.
Oh, okay.
If you guys watch Doctor Strange 2, she was the focal point of the entire movie. But and then you have Richard Jones, Angel Salvador, Barnell Bohusk, Ultimate Nullifier, Maine, Michael Armstrong, William Bishop, and Sam Casey.
So a lot of names I don't know anything about if they have any association with other heroes or whatever, but I'm sure they all do, you know?
Yes, yeah. They definitely have some history, but if we go back to the original Team Brigade, they only showed up a few more times before they were never really mentioned again. And I think, and I agree with Paul on this, is what happened to those guys, and would Loki want some revenge on them?
Or get this, just hear me out. What if Loki is also, he's pissed off at the Avengers? What if he uses these kids and imbues them somehow with powers, much like how he did Storm, and uses them against the Avengers? But
I like
eventually
that.
they end up turning and becoming their own heroes or something. I don't know. What do you think?
I like that a lot. So if we're gonna give them some powers, what are we gonna give them?
Okay. Well, I guess this really are we going off the premise that this is all Loki, right?
I mean, he's tied back to Avengers.
Wait a sec. One sec. How many of them are there?
Well,
Like how
okay,
many
hold on.
characters?
Before we go crazy with the Team Brigade and all its members throughout the generations of Marvel, all we need is one. That is Rick Jones. That can make a plot in itself, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
We just need one. We just need one. And I can sit and it could be a situation where Loki has blessed / cursed this guy in a way that he isn't even aware of, like getting superpower. But in actuality, it's a curse that he is now going to suffer through. Like everybody thinks it'd be cool to be a vampire, right? Until the sun comes, right?
Yeah. That's good.
Right. Exactly. I'm not saying he turns him into a vampire, but something along those lines where he realized that this blessing, these powers he has, are actually going to destroy his life. And Loki loves it. And then it's how this guy deals with it, possibly being on the crux of being a supervillain and possibly reaching out to heroes to help him through it. What do you guys think about that?
Yes, because then it adds a lot of mischievousness to it and everything, right? God of
agree.
lies, you know?
I agree. I was just doing a quick dive just to make sure this has not been done already, and it looks like we are a-okay to do this, except for, so I'm just on Marvel Fandom. Destiny Force is his powers, apparently. On rare occasions and thorough unusual circumstances, Jones has been able to tap into a mysterious, near limitless energy known as Destiny Force.
Yeah.
The Destiny Force is believed to be inherent in all of humanity. Jones has used this power to alter reality in the past by bringing figures from his imagination to life, or even figures from different times of existence.
Well, I'm going to say we're not using Rick Jones anyways, and I wouldn't use America Chavez.
Anyway. Yeah, we're not going to use a character that, let's use, like, what was the guy's name? Sam something? What was his name again?
Looking. I'm looking.
Just had a list of their names. So
yeah, I did the Team Brigade Avengers. That list was the most recent edition. The other list was, sorry, I just cannot find it right now. Of course, it disappeared on me. Well, we can go back to the comic real quick.
There you go.
All pages. So here we go.
I'm taking a look. They're not really referring to each other by name, except for
they're not. They
might not even have names, so we can call them whatever we want.
Exactly.
Yep.
But we tie it back to this comic, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the whole point. So it's Loki going after these kids now that they're an adult, giving them superpowers, making them think that he's all that in a bag of chips, when in all actuality, it's destroying his life and everything around him, and turns him into an unwilling supervillain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's doing stuff because he can't control the powers or their side effects, and these things are affecting things, and he becomes a danger to the public, and he's You know what I mean? That whole thing where the superheroes have to come stop him, but he's like, we'll say the Avengers. The Avengers have to come and stop him. But when they realize who it is, obviously they can't go full bore on him. You know what I mean? Because of the situation. And it's that whole, how do we help this guy? How did this happen to him? And that whole investigation, of course, that has to lead back to Loki getting his teeth kicked down his throat yet again.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
This makes sense. This makes sense.
So what's his power? Like, okay, people that Loki's given power to is like the Wrecking Crew, the Absorbing Man, right? Like he's given some considerable power to people, right? And effectively, like they still have those powers to this day, right? Like these are permanent situations.
Yeah.
So he could theoretically, if we're going to go off as the Absorbing Man as a place marker, like literally the sky's the limit. Like this guy could have any kind of power.
Yeah.
I was thinking, well, the first thing that popped in my head was something that drains, or you know, he has like almost a death essence around him. So if you stay around him for too long, he will drain your life essence.
Okay.
And the first little bit would be, let's say he's sitting in a park or his backyard and his garden starts to die around him.
Nice.
Right?
So he has entropy?
Hold on. No. Remember, it's got to be a side effect. That's not the power. That's the side. So the power is that this guy just becomes exponentially more powerful. As that side effect grows, right? That life drain. He's draining more and more life unknowing, but he's becoming more and more powerful, right?
Right. That's his fuel. That's the fuel.
But he doesn't even know it's happening.
Right. Right.
Until it gets out of control, right? And like a whole city's worth of people are in the hospital, you know what I mean? And hospitals dying and stuff.
Okay, let's also add to it, like, because the Asgardians are immortal, he's not immortal himself, but the more he's around and sucks people's life, he becomes immortal, right?
Absolutely.
He needs to feed on them without even knowing.
So and then there's a good tragic part too. If they somehow remove those powers from him, he dies.
Yes.
Right. Yep. If he doesn't keep feasting or, feeding off this,
it'll feed off of him.
Yeah. Yep, I do like that.
And then ultimately, the heroes, the Avengers, will have to go confront Loki and get him to reverse.
Yeah.
And there you go. There's a plot for a story. What do you guys think?
I like it. I like that.
I do like that. I do like that a lot. Obviously, he needs a name.
Yep. How about Exponential?
How about Valhalla?
No.
You're all dying.
The worst. I'm kicking you out now, Dave.
I'm horrible at names, so... I am good with exponential.
Exponential, right? Because his power is constantly growing, right? As long as he's got see, it starts off very small, like you said, his garden, maybe his girlfriend's getting sick, right? Maybe his dog, things like that. They're starting to get sicker and sicker around.
He goes to the doctor. The doctor's treating him, and the doctor collapses and dies.
Well, let's not kill people.
Fair,
but
fair. But in ICU, whatever, they have to remove the doctor. Coma puts him in a coma, right?
Get your head out of the Iron Age. All right.
Everyone's
getting I know what will make Exponential better. We give them lots of guns. All right. So
no.
All righty. Hold on. So yeah, that's absolutely right. Like he goes to the doctor. The old doctor didn't have a lot of life left. He drops, goes into a coma. This guy starts to understand he's the problem, but he doesn't know how to stop it. Superheroes come in to, you got to stop killing everybody, buddy. We're taking you in. And then oh, geez, it's one of the Teen Brigade. What the? Right?
I love it.
And he's just like, please, my girlfriend's going to die. My dog's going to die. My doctor's going to die. I don't want to keep killing people. And then they're like, and then it could be like Tony, okay? Tony does his suit protects him from the radiation or whatever it is and he's able to do some tests on him. And like, if we take this guy out of population, it's just going to eat him alive. He's going to die. So we can't even put him on a spaceship and send him to another world. Oh wait,
that's another one.
Hulk, yeah.
Alrighty, but
Hulk.
But I'm just saying. So there's a really good plot line right there. And then they realize, okay, well, how did he get these powers and everything like that? And then the investigation into it, and then ultimately the confrontation with Loki. And Loki is just like, and then and the heroes will be like, why would you do this? This guy, like, what has he ever done to you? And that ties in all the way back to Avengers #1. And Loki's like, I never, ever forget. And I never, ever forgive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do like that. I like that a lot. So Loki, does he just bestow these powers upon him without him realizing?
I think he's got to trick him into it. I don't think it should be a.
No, literally Loki can just turn invisible and do crap, man. Like read the
I know,
comics.
but I think it should be it's got to be something like, like, oh man, I really wish I could do something. I wish I could have helped them out or something like that. And all of a sudden his wish is granted somehow without him realizing. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Nice. Yeah, like say Spider-Man or somebody saves his girlfriend or something, and she's just like all Spider-Man starry-eyed or something like that. And then he
Sure.
something.
Yeah,
Or
he's just he's a little butthurt, right? And he's just like, I wish you'd look at me like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could even be the stupid guy at the beach kicking sand in his face. I don't know.
I'd give anything to have powers like my hero.
Yeah. Or even one of the Avengers from that day way back when.
It could even be a situation where he's talking with Rick Jones, who's had every fucking power in the book, right?
Mhm.
And he's trucked with every superhero in the book. And he's just like, and then and Rick is just like, oh, you haven't been to space, kind of.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Like it's just like that. Like, and it could just be a situation that's like, well, I was part of the Team Brigade too. Why didn't I have this life of event? And then, the weird old man in the street says, oh, well, you know what I mean? I heard that you were thinking about seeking adventure. He says, I could grant you powers greater than Thor.
Yeah.
And I guess
Enter the monkey paw.
And I guess the rest is history. Right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh, I do like that. That is well done.
And there we go. We have a story, self-contained. I mean, not as expansive as Legacy from our last episode, which you people should be checking out. But
yes.
But yeah, it's more self-contained, maybe an issue or two, self-contained story, but still ties it all the way back. It shows these Marvel writers what can be done with literally just a couple panels from the first appearance of the Avengers. So what's their excuse?
Let me get back to that panel right here. Here. Look at that.
Yep, absolutely.
Right there.
Man, I'd hate to be surrounded by freaking Thor and Iron Man. All right.
Nice.
Yeah. I hope nobody has a super sense of smell because I just crapped my pants. But
amazing.
So what do you guys think? Is there anything you want to add to that? So we got exponential, life draining, and of course, even though they remove the powers from the guy, we know somehow in the future he'll get them back.
Right, that's a temp fix, and maybe they have to put him on some sort of, either it's a spell that's that wears off over time, or obviously he has to take medication to nullify them and
wear a suit,
something.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We could insert solution X here, and
so while his power theoretically could be the most powerful being, because he could just keep absorbing life, but that suit eventually caps his power off, so he's in the realm of regular, like he could be a superhero then, and it gives him something to be concerned about, though. What if his suit ruptures or something?
Yeah.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
So I like
absolutely.
It lays the groundwork for a possible superhero in the future too.
Yep.
So there we go.
Very nice.
I think it's a great idea. I think Marvel should be sending us contracts right now, but
I mean, we got 2 in the bank so far. If you guys, out there in internet lands, think you have some more to add, please do. We will try to reply and continue to build, even though we're not recording, because who knows, maybe down the future, if we got a good story going, maybe we can flush out a full story, and rather than just ideas. Who knows where this could go.
And if these ideas get published, no, they stole them from us. There you go.
That's right.
You know where you heard them first? Comics Conspiracy. All righty.
There you go.
Do you love it, guys?
So far.
Absolutely.
All righty. I guess we're going to move on to topic number 2. This is a more open-ended kind of situation than we're going to have with Exponential and the Avengers. This is going to be, who is the Hulk's greatest antagonist? Now, this is a tricky one if you actually put it, because I know what the knee-jerk is. Knee-jerk's everyone's going to say Abomination, and okay, but let's really think about this for a second.
I have narrowed it down to 4 candidates.
Okay.
We have the leader. We have Abomination. We have General Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And number 4, is Bruce Banner.
I'd like to put a fifth one in there. Let's put a fifth one in consideration.
Okay, hold on a second, guys.
No, don't. I'm going.
No, hold on.
And you were trying to steal my idea.
No, the whole thing froze. I only heard.
Hold on, I'm putting Dave's on timeout. All right. All right. I'm saying his dad. Okay, Bruce's dad. There we go.
Oh, okay. Wow, you just booted him.
All right, Dave, you're back.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming back. I'm gone.
He took his drawing too.
No, he left. He took his drawing and went home.
3 guys.
That's it. Okay, so what did we end up with? Because I didn't even get a vote here.
Well, I just
Bruce's
laid out.
dad.
I laid out candidates for me personally. Because I still haven't decided. I told myself not to decide until we are ready or until we're recording. So my candidates were the leader, Abomination, General Ross, or Bruce Banner.
And then I added Bruce's dad.
Yeah, Bruce's dad is good. What about Betty?
What?
Betty Ross.
I'm listening. What do you mean?
Well, think about it. It's like
I'm thinking
he's always like it's almost like he has to prove himself to her. So he's got to be a better person because of that. So Bruce Banner is always trying to contain the Hulk, when really the Hulk could probably evolve on his own without that kind of shit and actually become, something himself. You see what I'm trying to say?
You're saying that because Betty's
like a moral compass for him, like a conscience.
Yeah. So that I think you need to look up the meaning of antagonist then, because her trying to make him a better person isn't a bad thing.
No, but I'm just saying, like it's like the Hulk's enemy, because Bruce wants to contain the Hulk, but the Hulk can't. Like he can't take over and be the Hulk all the time because of that. And it's a motive. I don't know. All right. Anyways, yeah, I was just trying to think outside the box.
I hear what you're saying. I would almost phrase it as Betty always puts herself in situations that make Hulk rage the most.
Yes, right? There you go.
Right, and it triggers the Hulk. But I would say Betty's more Hulk's Achilles heel.
Hold on, first before we go
an antagonist.
Comics conspiracy are not misogynists or any kind of gists. Human Rampage speaking on his own, I disavow. All right, so
nice. No, all right.
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I can see where she has been an enemy of his. Okay, especially as Red She-Hulk, all right, and so on and stuff like that. I can see it, but we're talking his greatest antagonist.
This is why I put Thaddeus Ross in contender, because that encompasses Betty as well. And what was Bruce's father's name?
Oh, I forget.
Jeez.
What about Jack McGee?
Show your love with a slap.
But he was a jerk. Brian Banner?
Show your love with a slap Banner.
Brian Banner.
I like McGee. Don't make me mad. But no. Okay.
I think he was only in the TV show anyway.
I mean, we'll put since you said it, Dave, we're gonna put Betty on the docket, but she's getting voted out immediately.
Oh, that would be cool. So I think it's a good idea, right?
Is there a way we could do like a poll thing on here, or can we like do some graphic? I don't know. It'd
have to be live, man. We're not. This is
right. We're not live.
We're gonna focus right now. Okay, so let's talk about it then, guys. All right, so we have some good ones laid down. You covered the ones that I was going to cover. I would have also said from the Immortal Hulk, the one below. That was that's a very, very devastating enemy to the Hulk.
Absolutely. But for greatest foe, I would have to be like, it's got to be reoccurring, right?
Yeah,
it's got to be someone who, right? Like,
and while the Green Door. Well, the Green Door and the one below is implied that it was there all the time. It wasn't shown, and if it's not shown, it doesn't exist.
I mean, we'll do this for Spider-Man one day, and I'm sure we won't come up with an answer because there's a lot there that they have been there the entire time. And he's. I mean, even Hulk's got some good ones too. I mean, the leader's smarter. He's Banner's Lex Luthor. Right, or he's the Hulk's Lex Luthor. He's smarter. He knows he's not gonna beat the Hulk toe to toe, so he's gonna outthink him. Abomination is that classic mirror villain. I'm the same. I can do this better than you. Bruce Banner is that internal struggle of Jekyll and Hyde, and they hate each other. They hate each other, yet they have to live with one another forever. And General Ross is just that classic father-in-law that you're not good enough for my daughter. Like at the very deepest core of it, that's what it is. You're not good enough for my daughter. On top of, you're going to destroy everything that I am supposed to keep.
Yeah.
And with Paul's add-on, Bruce's dad, who was, was he an alcoholic? I can't remember, but I know he was
No, I think that's
abusive.
part of it. Oh, he's beyond. Okay, so the reason why Bruce has his anger issue is because of his father, and the reason why he has his deep psychosis, his schizophrenia, and multiple personalities is because of the abuse from his father. So now here's the thing, like the Abomination, right? Think about this for a second. The Abomination doesn't have multiple personalities. He's Emil Blonsky. He's just Gavin. Okay. For the most part, She-Hulk is Jennifer Walter. She's just Jennifer Walter. There was a time when she was savage and stuff like that, but that's in comparison to the time where she's just a gamma powered Jennifer Walters. It's a small drop in the bucket. Okay. You look at the leader, right? Like look at Doc Samson. Look at all these people. They don't have that Jekyll and Hyde. Banner does, but that's not because of the gamma per se. That's because he was already insane going in. The gamma, the unquantifiable aspects of gamma, right? The unscientific parts of gamma latched onto his subconscious and his insanity and intermingled with them in a way that produced that aspect.
Nice.
It's really good. I mean,
that's it, right? Like that is the whole thing, right? Like it's all Banner's mind. It's all of it's his consciousness and subconsciousness that it's fueling. And it's gamma just took what was there and then turned it superhuman. That's it.
Wait, yeah. Brian David Banner is the one below?
Perhaps. I don't know. I haven't read enough of the Immortal Hulk to find out exactly what the one below is.
Got it. Let us know. Okay. I'm just reading.
I will when I get there. But I'm just saying, guys.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is yes, gamma is a radiation that can be quantified scientific, but there are elements of it, aspects of it that science cannot identify. And it's those metaphysical aspects of gamma that do these things differently because why does Emil Blonsky look like he's like half lizard fish, right? Like it changes each person a little differently. Why Doc Samson only his hair turned green, right? Like stuff like that. Like with A-Bomb, why is he a blue abomination and stuff like that? Like so there's different aspects of what gamma does to people based on those unscientific aspects of the radiation itself. What it did with Bruce Banner is it latched itself into his deeply fractured subconscious and rage.
I mean, not to get off topic, I'm sorry, but I just had a thought. So like you're saying it latches on to a certain aspect of people. You know, it would be a cool what if Rogers was exposed to the gamma. What would happen there? And what would that look like? Anyways, that's another topic for another day.
Absolutely.
And we could dive into that.
But because Bruce Banner was a deeply flawed man when that bomb went off, holy cow, the Hulk, right?
Yeah. Okay. So,
and that's why I'm going to say that's why I put his father on the docket was because the father is the source of that. Okay. So that's where, I'm willing to talk. Let's start eliminating people, right? So we can get down to it.
Okay. Who are you going to eliminate?
Betty first.
Come on. Come on. Why?
Because she loves him and only wants what's best for him 9 times out of 10, except when she's a red She-Hulk bitch.
Yeah.
You make a good case for Bruce's dad, so I'm not eliminating yet. I just don't know if he's the top of my list.
Okay, I'm putting Betty on the chopping block. Let's vote right now.
Oh, I can vote on the removal of Betty Ross for being Hulk's greatest foe.
Yes. I say Abomination's got to go.
Anyway, we're not there yet. We're talking Betty right now.
No, she's gone. She's off the table.
All right. She's gone. He's eliminated because she shouldn't even been on the table. Moving on. Okay, so we're going to put on who up next? You want to put Abomination up next?
Yeah, possible. He's not. He's not.
I'll agree. Well, I'll tell you why. Okay. Well, he's amazingly reoccurring, right? He's a great reoccurring villain for Hulk. The thing is, though, is that he represents a physical threat to the Hulk, which is left. There is no physical threat to the Hulk that's really viable. It's just the way it is. So he has to present something else to get that number one position, right? And just
Right.
being able to fist fight with the Hulk for a few panels isn't enough. It isn't. It is not enough to be considered great, because the Hulk doesn't care about physical threat. He just doesn't.
No, he doesn't. No.
It's not going to be. It's not the physical threats that are going to put that situation over for the Hulk. So I don't think somebody who represents a physical threat to the Hulk could be considered his greatest enemy. Maybe somebody who's physical and had other aspects, but all the Abomination has is physical. And let you guys knock it out of the park. Go ahead.
No, I mean, mere villains never really do it for me. I mean, there are exceptions always, but I agree. They're never the greatest antagonist to the heroes. They're just there to show what they could have become if they chose a different path. Does that make sense?
Yep, that totally makes sense. I agree. Yeah,
absolutely.
So second call for Abomination. I will raise my hand here.
And me, I really just think that there's only so many times you can do that same story with him. You know, basically they're just gonna fight it out. And like, I get it, it's a Wolverine Sabretooth kind of thing as well, and it is great to see it every once in a while. But if you overdo it, you know,
I hear you.
It'll be watered down and no one will care.
I mean,
so, yeah,
that's a different topic for a different day, but I would almost say Sabretooth is one of those exceptions for Wolverine because they're brothers.
We can't go on that tangent.
No, we can't go because we'll be there for another half hour.
Okay.
But Abomination is off the table. Goodbye.
All right, who's up? Who else is up now? Leader?
Yeah, let's go, Leader.
Oh,
all right. Okay, the Leader is an interesting one, and I think the only reason why he's just too buffoonish. They have written him so poorly in the past. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, lots of great potential.
Yeah.
Right?
Incredible.
Like, he could be Marvel's Lex Luthor almost, right? Like, but he's silly. But I guess he's that mad scientist. But that comes back to the whole universal monsters that Stan Lee gave the Hulk, right? The Jekyll and Hyde and that mad scientist, actual Frankenstein feeling, right? I think that's where the Leader comes from. And, you know, Mr. Sturm, you are too silly to be a greatest foe, and I agree with that.
Yeah, he's just like, he's had moments, but overall, he's more of a joke almost. It's almost
correct.
A punch.
Yeah.
And is that really the fault of, you know, the times, you know, like they made it like that back then, but if they did some modern takes now, would they really still stick to it? I mean, writers could do it better. You know, they could make him better.
Not today's writer.
Well, I'm putting them to the task. You know, it's like, do it better. You know,
all right.
You
Here's
have the potential.
Is he as comical as MODOK? No, but he's in that same vein. He's heading in that direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think that qualifies him as a serious contender for being the greatest antagonist to the Hulk.
And really, it's just, all he is I'm the opposite of you, brains over bronze, and we're going to prove to you that brains are more powerful, you know, whatever. Yeah.
All right, he's off. What are we left with, Jordan?
We got Ross, Banner, or Banner.
Let's go to Banner himself.
Okay.
Let's talk about Banner. Okay.
All right, Bruce.
It's going to be an argument all the way down the line, but fundamentally, yeah, the Hulk story is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and that is man against man, man against himself. Man against himself is the conflict. And so I'd have to agree that is probably his greatest enemy. It's the source of all of his power. It's the source of all of his curse. It is his psychosis. It is everything. Is how he was unable to actually deal with what has happened to him in his life. It is a series of bad decisions. It is all of that. And I don't know. Maybe that is the greatest enemy because we are talking.
This final three is going to be our hardest.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You know what? I'm keeping him on the docket.
Yeah, I'm not ready to eliminate him yet.
And I think it's universal that anybody who's worked on the Hulk has really put that as their
the focal point, right? That's Hulk's eternal struggle.
The struggle.
Or vice versa, that's Banner's eternal struggle, right? Like they are their own. Well, I can't say that yet because we haven't decided yet, but I almost said it. They are their own worst enemies. So moving on, I'm gonna actually bring up Bruce's father. And all the stuff that he has done, I can't blame. I can blame Brian Banner for his own action. And the repercussions of Brian Banner's actions was what happened with Bruce. However, Bruce is one of the smartest people on the planet, and at some point, he does need to take responsibility and seek help.
Be a man. Own it.
Hold on. Just man up.
Man up.
To that point, knowledge doesn't equal wisdom, and that's one
True.
thing you're going to see a great failing with Marvel comic characters. Look at the Illuminati, the greatest minds in the Marvel universe, and they don't have a freaking point of wisdom to split between the entire group, but they have all this knowledge, but no practical application of it. They don't understand 20 seconds ahead of a decision. They just don't. They have no wisdom whatsoever. So I'm going to sit there and say that, yes, well, Bruce is absolutely one of the most intelligent men on Earth. His ability to be wise is very short-sighted.
Is that why it's a separate role?
Is absolutely here, right? Like intelligence tells you, right? Knowledge and intelligence tells you that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom tells you not to put it in a fruit cocktail.
Okay, I see what you're saying there.
That's a good example. Clip that, Luke.
Anyway, but I'm going to say I'm taking the father off the docket. Do you want to know why?
I would like to hear that.
And I put him out there, and I'm going to be taking him off. To be Hulk's greatest antagonist, you have to have longevity. And I'm going to be honest with you, the story of Bruce Banner's dad and his abuse isn't all that long in comparison to the actual story of Banner, the Hulk, all of that. It's relatively. Now, keep in mind, I'm saying relatively a new concept of that aspect of Bruce Banner. So there you go. So I'm going to take him off simply because he's not been around long enough.
You just stole everything I was going to say. It's like, while it's a great concept, it's so fresh and new. It doesn't have the longevity that, we've had with the Hulk all this time. And who knows, with Marvel, it might be around right now, but all of a sudden it could be completely undone and dropped and never happened. Oh, there was no abusive father. Like, when have we ever heard about Bruce's father before? In the last, it wasn't until like a couple years ago. It's like he never had a father, as far as we knew, the way it was.
Yeah.
I mean, let's give them credit where credit's due. They were mining and they came up with a story. So I want to, give credit where credit is due, but I agree. How many more stories do you have with Brian Banner?
Yeah.
That leaves us with General Ross.
My man.
Thaddeus.
I don't think he's an antagonist. I think he's a hero.
Oh, there we go. Let's go. Defend it.
All right. With his personal connections aside, okay, he is faced with an impossible task,
which is
contain the Hulk.
It is. And I also want to say, is like, when we think about when the Hulk came out, there was a lot of hippie movement. So no matter what, Army was bad, right? And that's why, it's like, he's bad. Government.
I don't even be no hippie to tell you that the Army's bad, but okay, keep going.
But I mean, I don't think the Army is bad, but
I'm trying to stay out of politics.
All right.
That will be his second channel.
Politics. Paul. Tick. Get it?
Politics. Paul talks politics.
No ticking. Yeah. No ticking.
All right. So anyway, I'm gonna say that this is a man who has a very, very set idea about what is right, what is order, what is structure, and the Hulk is a bull in a china shop of order. Like, he cannot. He's taken a. Number one, this happened on his watch, right? The Gamma Bomb, the result of the Hulk, all of that. This is him struggling to grasp at responsibility for this, right? You throw his daughter's sentiments into it, and then holy, like this poor bastard he's invested in ways that he just cannot be not, right? And he has probably one of the most far-reaching influences in the military, and he has almost unlimited resources when it comes to it. And so he's taking what he can to control a situation that he believes that he's responsible for.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why I think Ross is a very complex character. It's very easy to draw him black and white because he's complex. But they don't try to make him complex. They just make him. It's like J. Jonah Jameson. More pictures of Spider-Man, but you know what I mean. Like he's that for the Hulk, right? Like it's like must stop the Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
but where does that obsession comes from? That obsession comes from his fear, his sense of responsibility, and his character to make things right that are wrong.
Mhm.
Now, we do have to throw out what he became
Oh,
and
the Red Hulk.
Hulk.
the Red Hulk,
Yeah.
right?
He
He
lost his
evolves. He
He lost
evolves.
his mind on the way. He lost his mind on the way.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Which kept him relevant and the forefront of being Hulk's greatest foe.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one that's not really related. It was related, but it's not really pertinent to the topic. But why do you think the only reason he doesn't have a mustache in Red Hulk form is so people didn't know it was him? Remember, there was the big mystery: who is the Red Hulk? Nobody.
Yeah.
So why does he lose the mustache when he's Red Hulk? Is it just simply because they didn't want people to think it was Thunderbolt?
That's a good question. I mean, are you talking as a writer or an artist standpoint, or are you talking about
just they were trying to keep him secret, right? Who is the Red Hulk, right? Like, who shot Mr. Byrne? They're trying to keep it secret, right? So if they give him a mustache, everybody would think that it was him.
Well, then they know already, right?
So is that the only reason, though, that he doesn't have a mustache when he goes Hulk?
Well, let's. I mean, yeah, I would say yes, right? Because it's the only one I can think of. But also, you said earlier, the radiation does something different to every single person, right?
But just his mustache.
Why does
just his mustache?
Well, and he's red, right? He's the only one who's red, isn't he? Everybody else is green. Right?
Well, Betty is red, isn't she?
Yeah, she's red too.
But
Betty, yeah.
But they're related.
They are related. That's valid.
This is a different cocktail. This isn't just pure gamma. It's something that's been altered, right? Like, that's why the way it is. That's why they get hotter.
Maybe he just shaved it because he didn't want to know.
No, it's when he changes, he has his mustache.
It just goes away.
Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Just something to think about. Okay, so I want to keep Thaddeus on the docket. I think that
right.
Well, no, you know what? I want to take him off. I think he's too much of a great character tag.
But if we take him off, that means we're down to just the Bruce Banner. We're down to our final two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think also, to be honest, how does Thunderbolt really threaten the Hulk? How?
Yeah, he's always reactive, right?
Like, how does General Ross actually threaten the Hulk? Does he go after his mind, his soul, or does he just go after his body? And once again, if it's just his body, then is that really a threat to the Hulk?
No, but I'll tell you where it is a threat: in his ability to live life. He's always got to be on the run. He can't settle down. He can't, live life and be.
He can't even get married because it's his daughter.
He can't be a human being because of him. Like, he can't exist.
Well, he can't be a human being because of the Hulk. Let's be honest.
That too. But yeah.
Somebody drops, their groceries on his foot, and the next thing you know, the whole grocery store is destroyed. But
this is actually, my mind is spinning. It's tough. I've been thinking.
I want to take him off because I think he's too. I think General Ross is more of an anti-hero than an actor. I don't think he's a.
No, we're not saying villain. We're saying greatest foe.
Antagonist, yes. But I'm going to be honest with you, where he has had obviously moments where he's lost his mind completely. I'm talking about the general spirit of that character, the overall spirit of the character, and I don't think he is enough of a threat to the Hulk.
Mm-hmm. I concur.
Duke, yeah.
No, he's not enough.
Jordan, look,
I'm seeing it. I think I'm getting outvoted here, but I don't have an answer yet because it's tough. I want to keep him for now, but
it's 2-1. You're out.
It's 2-1. It's 2-1. I just the amount of stuff that Thaddeus keeps. I mean, which can be argued that it's Bruce keeping him from those stuff, right? If Bruce wasn't doing the things he did, if Hulk did, then Thaddeus wouldn't even be involved. So I mean, it's tough. It's a toss up. We should put a poll up, that's for sure, and see whatever.
You're gonna lose. You're going to lose.
People at home. Okay. All right. So what does that leave us with, Jordan, quick?
Oh, that means Bruce Banner is Hulk's greatest foe.
Amazing.
That's what it comes down to.
Incredible. Not amazing.
That's why I couldn't decide yet.
Immortal. It's immortal.
There you go.
It's all... Dave.
Let me shift that over there.
That's perfect. Yep.
All right. So it's going to be... The topic is, what the Punisher
Love it. Well, I don't, but I like the name.
What
All right, do you
the
got
Punisher?
okay, now we've collectively we have probably close to a century's worth of comic book experience, okay, between the three of us, okay? Close
Yep.
to.
Yep.
I'm not saying we're closer to that than pretty much other numbers. Like we're not halfway there. So we're over halfway. So we're close to a century's worth of comic book experience. Have you guys ever, and I mean ever, seen a hatchet job like this?
Of destroying a character?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there is,
Like,
but
Marvel, there's an argument, but they didn't destroy who he was. Who he was.
yeah.
It was a hit job, that's for sure.
It was a hatchet job.
Now, there's definitely two angles you have to look at. You have to look at it as the story as itself and as the bloody times that we're living in. You know, both are to blame, I think.
Let's give a synopsis because maybe not everybody knows what's up. So I have not read this cover to cover. I will be honest. So I will let someone else take the reins on the synopsis. Because I don't want to miss crucial points
All right.
of the story.
Let's just say you haven't read it. You haven't read the whole thing, or you've just read parts of it, right?
Read parts and read the spoilers, etc. I have not dove in panel to panel, cover to cover.
I've read the entire thing. What about you, Paul?
I know the fact.
You know the facts. So
there it is.
There we go.
Fake news.
So look,
No,
yeah.
I just know the fact.
Yeah. You know the fact, the basis of it. But when we think about it, like all of Frank Castle's character has always been about, you know, the death of his family, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's his origin story.
He was like, what, in Vietnam or something? Oh, they might have changed it nowadays to be like Desert Storm or whatever they want to do it. But he was a soldier. His family got killed by a bunch of gangsters. They were caught in the crossfire or something. And that started his war on crime, right?
Yeah.
That's his whole life right there.
It's a
Like,
tragic story.
Starting off, you know, when we get to meet him with Spidey or whatever, but still, you know, they evolved that from being just a villain of the week to become an anti-hero, right?
Yes.
The king of killers. Yeah. So basically the synopsis of the story is like essentially he's doing his war. He's always been doing his war. And then like they decide that the hand gets involved, right? So the way that ends up being is like they're laying down this foundation that this chick here, I forget her name already, whatever. She's like priestess of the hand or whatever, essentially has approached Frank Castle and treated him like he's like the Dalai Lama or something like that. It's like, are any of these items yours, right? And if they pick the right, you know, the right item, then you are actually the reincarnation of whatever, the hand of the hand or whatever, the fist of the hand, whatever it was called. And
the finger of the hand. Yeah, I got it.
Whatever it is, right? So they trick him into that. Now, Frank, though, so we could say that there's two things I can say here. It's like basically he's been put under almost like a spell, and that's how he works with the hand. Or we look at it as Frank Castle going, the hand is just another weapon. You are a weapon I'm going to use with my war on like crime or whatever, you know? And
I have a couple questions to ask on the synopsis.
Yep.
What about his serial killer tendencies since he was 8 years old?
Now that comes back to around here, I think it is, right? And that was something they threw in from his past. So
It's a pretty cool cover, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
regardless of story. That
the art is amazing. I'm not gonna say anything about the art, you know. But essentially they're saying that he's always been what he is down to his core. Right? And things like that he's always, you know, plotted revenge, right? Even as a little kid to get back at people that are bad, you know, and like setting this guy on fire, right?
That undermines the reaction to his family's brutal killing.
And I agree. That takes away from that whole core essence, you know? And that was, I mean, while this is an interesting thing, you know, that they added into it, but it robs it. It robs his history, you know?
It does, because I mean, it's what kind of things? Well, it depends. Let me play a little devil's advocate here. Like when he was a kid, what kind of things did he go through for him planning revenge. I know it's not the same as, your family getting killed, but like, was his mom killed? Was
No,
his
hold
dad
on,
killed?
hold on.
What
Hold
was
on.
it?
It's not just that they're laying groundwork that he had serial killer tendencies ever since he was young, like 8 years old.
Well,
Yeah.
Duke said it's revenge story. So what was
No,
he
no,
getting
no.
revenge on?
Okay, that's fine. It's fine. It's revenge. But they're trying to say that there is a serial killer aspect to him, a murderous aspect to him, regardless of revenge. Revenge is just the way he can funnel that serial killer aspect. You know, like Dexter, how he only goes after like criminals, right?
Yeah, I was going to bring up Dexter. I'm like, are
but
we dealing with Dexter?
But what I'm saying is that he's always had that. That didn't come from the trauma of his family. It wasn't about revenge either. He's just a son of a bitch that likes to see things die. Luckily, though, for us, it's now funneled through the lens of revenge.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Sorry.
But here it's more like there's something that happened. This guy ends up killing people. He ends up getting off, and he gets away or whatever. And so he takes matters into his own hands and becomes a vigilante and takes this guy out that killed people, right?
So with this retcon of his origin, is there one, like a pinpoint, right? What did they call it in the new Spider-Man movie? A canon event that brings him down this path? Yes or no?
Not that I'm aware of.
I would say here, it's like the whole block went silent except for the wet, sloppy pounding of flesh and the crunching of bones. And of course, the screaming. No one said a word. No one called the police. No one lifted a finger to stop it. No one at all. So he's taking matters into his own hands because he sees this injustice and he thinks that it needs to be righted.
My question is where does that come from?
Yeah.
Because like all the other people in the neighborhood, they didn't all rise up and do something. He did. A little boy. Why did he? What's wrong with him? What happened to the wiring? And from what I'm aware of, is that they just leave it that this guy was a murderous little shit just waiting to happen.
Yeah. And I'm sure they touch on things he probably didn't have a great childhood. His father was a drunk or whatever, or who knows.
And then soon thereafter, he's turned into a tool for the hand behind the scenes. And he's been a tool for the hand this whole time.
And that's what they also touch on. So this whole scenario, they touch on it later on, but essentially that priestess of the hand manipulated that whole situation to start Frank on this path. They make it so it's like that. So that it's like they've always been lurking in the shadows, manipulating him, right? Which I do not like. I do not like that. I understand that that's the way they wanted to do the story, but it totally robs him of who he was again, right? Yep. And let's talk about just also in the synopsis why he's doing all this is because the hand is promising him, besides his war on crime, and such, but they're promising him his wife and children back. They brought his wife back from the dead, and the whole thing is they keep trying to bring the children back and it keeps failing, keep trying it, but it's failing. But he's got his wife back.
We'll get into that too.
Yeah.
His motivation has been completely destroyed. It's not about the trauma of losing his family. It's been that he's been conditioned to become this whole time.
Yep.
So that is okay. We're right back to Hail Hydra, right? We're right back to it with Captain America. Hail Hydra.
Brand new day.
They can't seem to not want this for the characters. Like Captain America has to be the Red Skull. The Punisher has to be the Hand. It's so stupid. Anyway, regardless of all of that, and even the premise of bringing his wife back, right? So what happens when she comes back? She completely spits in his face. It's proven that he was an abusive husband. He was an abusive father. He was a holy terror to his family. That the reason, the reason why he had this terrible trauma of them dying was because he was left with how much of an asshole he was. It wasn't about the loss. It was that he was such an asshole to them while they were alive. That's a motivation.
Which again strips Frank Castle of everything that. When was his debut? In the 60s, 70s?
70s.
So 50 years later. Frank was a good father, but now
now he's an absent father
Now he's an absent father
because he was
who
out
did
killing
not
people
give a
then.
crap about anything.
Yeah, which, you know, again, another thing I don't like, right? You know?
because it changed everything. And so, what is Wolverine saying to Frank here?
Oh, you want to know?
I'm very interested to see what Wolverine says to
Basically
this
saying,
murderer.
admit you screwed up big time. Give me a reason not to kill you, Frank. And Frank replies, you do me better. Do yourself next, bub. Because really, Wolverine's a killer too, right?
Yep.
1974.
1974.
There
So
you
we're
go.
coming up to his 50th anniversary next year.
Yeah, so it was Amazing Spider-Man 124 or 129, 124, I think. Let me double check. I don't want to give the people at home any wrong information. It is Spider-Man 129, 19th February 1974.
There's some beautiful artwork in this on these pages, that's for sure.
Oh,
and looks like there's some nostalgia bait in it.
yeah.
Like, but
It's
go
I
ahead.
mean, it's a greatly drawn book. The story is written well, but the concept of destroying is you know what I'm saying? I'm not. It's really well written. It's incredible. But of course, the demolishing and executing of this character, you know, and everything they stand for, it is what ends up happening, right? Like, obviously, what can you do, right?
And so what ultimately happens to at the end?
At the very end.
At the very end, issue 12, last few panels.
All right. So basically, we end up with, okay, you know, Frank basically, he's like, we took a vote. It was unanimous, but we've decided what's to be done with you. You'll be, and before Cap can even finish, it's like, with all due respect, Captain Rogers, I don't need to hear your judgment. Something tells me that whatever it is, it wouldn't be enough anyway. So I've already come up with it on my own, with a little help from the power of the beast. And they're like, take him down, right? So he's got these things that are giving him the power of the beast. He like does something, and then all of a sudden, poof, he's gone, you know? And Doctor Strange is like, he's no longer within this plane of existence. What do you mean? He's dead? I mean, the Punisher is no more.
No, and that's it. He ends up self-exiling himself, and he's on some weird space station in the middle of outer space.
The ending when they get to this point where they show where he is or whatever here is just dumb. This part is just dumb. It's like bad ending of a movie, you know? It's like, oh, the movie was so good until the very end when they do something very stupid, you know? Like, look, it's like wherever.
So go back to that last page.
Which one? The very, very last page?
The very last page.
Yep, here he is.
So I do like this page. If they're going to sideline Punisher, retire the Punisher, everything, you know, it's him surrounded by kids, and he says, what does he say? Call me Frank, correct? Yep. Call me Frank.
He's not the Punisher, he's Frank.
Not the Punisher anymore. He's back to being, and we have to separate everything that happened before, because this can go back to this page alone goes back to everything he's ever wanted, was a family, and be a protector and a provider, right? And he doesn't have to call himself the Punisher. It's call me Frank, and he's leading these refugee children out of a war-torn city or planet, wherever he may be. He has removed himself from the war and is becoming a protector. He's not the Punisher now, he's the protector. I think that is really well done. Now, but to throw in these psycho tendencies from when he was a kid, to say that he was an abusive father,
or the worst part was the wife, where she
says,
like, let me just find it, like, just right here. It's like, goodbye, Frank. One of us has a life to live now, you know, one that's becoming a long time. Like, basically, and then she goes like, at the end, she's like, and stay dead, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you're done. We're done with you.
Right.
You know?
So if they had kept his origin story, and didn't completely retcon it to appease what's going on in the real world right now, because some fringe people were wearing his t-shirts or wearing Marvel's t-shirts, they're like, oh, we want no part of that, because that's the point of this comic, was to shame these real life Punishers, so to speak, right? That's why they changed the symbol. I love that opening, like that cover art is fantastic.
But it all boils down to this
to that logo
being used, or this brand being used in ways that are not politically correct and Marvel / Disney wants no part of that, right? So that's where this all stems from, you know?
And rather teaching Castle a lesson. Like there's been many times Marvel has been fairly consistent over the years with how the other heroes view the Punisher.
Yeah,
like
100%.
You're not a hero, you're not one of us. You don't do the work that we're trying to do. Stay away from us, right?
Yeah.
The fact that some readers are like, oh no, this is what we should do, right? And sided with Castle is so dumb. And to strip someone, or not someone, because it's a fictional character, but to strip your audience of 50 years of content, right? This Civil War, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's exactly that.
And he will not fight him, right?
He will not. He will not. But
and her character has been consistent. Yeah.
It just.
I'm going to listen. They already addressed it, okay? And this is the thing. They addressed it when there was a bunch of cops in the comics that were sporting his symbol, and they were borderline pushing the envelope. Corrupt cops, we'll just call it that, okay? I don't even, you know what I mean? They were borderline vigilantes using their badge for illegal purposes. And when the Punisher confronted them, they say, we're doing what you do, right? You are inspiring us. And the Punisher literally tells them, you keep doing this, and I will kill all of you.
Yep.
And that's it. They addressed it. Yep. They addressed it already, and it's still not good enough. Once you bend the knee, once you bend the knee, it will never be enough. You're never getting up off that knee until you're utterly destroyed. Oh, wait, here we are. He's utterly destroyed. It's over. It's over. The party's over. If there was any reason you collected the Punisher, there is no reason anymore, because everything you thought it's just like when they did the whole clone saga thing. The Peter Parker that you collected for the last 20 years wasn't Peter Parker. It's so they cannot not get in their own way. Look, we just proved it today in this segment. Hopefully you guys in this recording, hopefully you guys saw the early segment with the Avengers #1. We literally proved that you can take a kernel of plot from 70 years ago, 80 years ago, and you can make a good story out of it.
Yeah.
You can absolutely do it, right? So you can do those things. You don't have to do this. You don't have to say that Captain America is a Hydra agent, that Peter Parker is a clone, that the Punisher was a hand, asset the whole time. Like, you don't have that's not interesting plot. That's character assassination.
They took elements from Brand New Day and out comes the hand and dangles something in front of Frank Castle that he's going to want. They took Jesus into the desert and tempted him for 30 days. Okay? That's what they did. Unfortunately, Marvel likes to make the heroes choose the wrong choice. We've talked about this off camera, is, the appeal of Marvel is that they're not gods. They are human beings that have fallacies that sometimes do the wrong thing, but then correct themselves, But when it comes down to demons and devils offering choices, like that's the root of evil. Evil's coming to you and say, hey, would you like this? And our heroes are saying, yes, I would like that, and which undermines everything that we love about them, because they might punch too hard and accidentally hurt someone, maim someone, God forbid even kill someone, but when it comes down to making the right choice, they make the right choice. That's why they're heroes.
Yeah.
You know who did this right? Dr. Doom.
Dr. Doom?
Explain.
The whole Dr. Doom, Doctor Strange team up, where he goes up against Mephisto to get his mother's soul back.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yep.
And it looks like Dr. Doom made the deal, sold out Doctor Strange, but he actually hadn't. He actually had the plan in motion that it would be Mephisto that he tricked and that he betrayed.
Yeah.
So how can Dr. Doom do it, but our heroes never do?
Great question.
Because Dr. Doom is awesome.
I mean, because,
he's the man.
we can say that Parker has principles. Even Castle has principles, right? And rules. But when you are stuck for ideas and how to do this, and you break those principles, it destroys everything that's come before it. And that's what this comic really does. It destroys everything that's come before it.
And that was the plan.
That was the point. That was the point. You know, I would have much rather have seen, you know, them arrest him and throw him on the raft, you know, and have a Punisher story continue of self-improvement or a journey where he or you know, Cap takes him under his wing, is like, you're with me and you're never losing my sight. You're never leaving my sight. And a path to a rehabilitation, you know?
But it wasn't enough for them just to write the Punisher out, okay? Kill him off, write him out,
Right.
imprison him. They had to destroy it all of it, from the first appearance to this moment. They had to destroy it all. They had to show, and I'm trying not to get political. Okay, they had to show that they were playing ball to such a degree that one of the biggest money makers of all time, they were willing to throw up on a cross, crucify him, execute him, destroy everything he was.
Now, is there a way that his wife wasn't his wife?
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. Like, is there a way that's a shapeshifter? Yeah, in the story.
Well,
is it confirmed that they rezzed her, or is it more trickery done by the hand? Right.
Well,
I'm just trying to. I'm asking questions.
It is her. It has to be her because, you know, she ends up at the end where
she's pregnant, isn't she?
Yes. Sorry, I'm looking at issue 1. We go back to she's pregnant and she's left and gone off to make her own life. Right.
That's right.
And she told him she's getting a divorce.
Yeah.
She's divorcing him. She's leaving him, and that he should stay
all
dead.
the money he made, and she's pregnant, and, you know, off she goes. Right.
I forgot about that.
Pregnant with Punisher.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
You know, but
yeah,
like, it's not a vision. It's like they stamped it, they locked it in, and they tried their damnedest to make sure it. I mean, I'm sure we could mine it and find something. I don't know, but like that drive away with the pregnancy is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Now those flashbacks when he was a kid, was that him telling the story? Who was talking there?
There was no narration. We're just going through his.
So path. It's just straight. Yeah. This is the history. Yeah, welcome to your hero's history that you never knew about for 49 years.
Yeah, it's like,
here it is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's like going back to Spider-Man and Spider-Man killing Uncle Ben. Yeah, here's something you didn't know. It was Spider-Man that killed Uncle Ben.
Yeah, but no, it's a shame. And to be honest, you know, like, even them ending it off with that loophole of him doing this. And I know, like you said, you like that idea that he's got this. To me, character Frank Castle is a street level hero. He doesn't belong as a cosmic ghost rider. He does not belong in some weird demon dimension or whatever. He does not. It just doesn't fit, you know, for me. You can't get me to jump on that.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never been like the, you know, over and above Punisher fan. I've always liked the concept. I liked that, you know, we had a gray or an anti-hero kind of character to collect or to read, and how he kind of skirted the edges and mixed in Marvel society and stuff like that. And it was interesting. And I know he made a lot of money for the company. But it's the principle of the thing. Mm-hmm. How they would treat their customers so terribly. And I'm going to be honest with you. Marvel will say, well, it's our character to do what we want with, right? We can hand it over to activists. We can hand it over to fan fiction writers. We can hand it over to whoever. It's our character, right? Yeah. Okay. But they have then admitted that they have been slowly putting this knife in our back for 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, rest in peace, Mr. Punisher.
I'm going to say this to you people at home. Stop giving money to companies that hate you. There it is.
Wow.
I just watching your face, like so many words want to come through that mouth, and you're not. It's funny.
Yeah.
Just look at this. Look at that great art in the center image. That's all I needed. There you go.
And again, it comes down to people buying.
Screw that symbol on his chest.
I hate that symbol.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I love that artwork though. I like how the smoke's coming up and the Punisher.
Look at that crap.
Yeah.
Trash.
Well, Ares is slashing it in half.
Trash.
My boy. That's
Yep.
my boy.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Stop. It is your boy. So Doctor Strange taught Daredevil a ritual, an incantation, because he was once possessed by an evil spirit or demon sent by the Hand, right? And he gave him this ritual, this spell that he could use to exorcise himself if it ever happened again. Doctor Strange said, you know what? In case this happens, you know what I mean? Here's the spell. I can't help Aunt May, but you have got. So he he goes. So look at that! Look at Jordan's face. Anyway, so he uses the ritual in his fight with Frank during that comic. He thinks that Frank Castle has been possessed by some type of element of the Hand, because he couldn't be like this, right? He couldn't be this.
Yes, this makes sense. Yeah.
And then he finishes it and he looks and he's like, "There's nothing there. This is you."
Yeah, and I think that was actually in the Daredevil comic, not in the Punisher one.
Yeah,
but
still.
So another thing that solidifies like there's like no retconning or like you're not. Yeah, that's tough, right? It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and when they take characters that we love and like and just throw them out the window. And
I gotta say, like, even in the writing, he was true. Like, Captain America acted like Captain America. Everybody acted like how they would, but it's the whole plot line that surrounds him, dismantling him. That's what was bad, right?
Yeah,
Daredevil was Daredevil. He was true to his character. Cap is, Doctor Strange was Doctor Strange, like how they would act. And even Frank, to his core, in a sense, was, but they just were taking that core and saying, nope. Let's get rid of this. Let's change that, But yeah, what can we do? So anyways, until the Punisher comes back.
Well, it's one of the things. Well, yeah, if the suckers out there give Marvel another chance, wait. But my thing is what the Daredevil TV series did for the Punisher was absolutely gold. And it's what kind of warmed me up to the character as well, because I've always been kind of lukewarm to him, because you know what I mean. I always saw him for what he was. But I was just like, yeah, okay, your family died. It doesn't give you,
right.
Yeah, just to go execute people, right? But when they put it in the Daredevil series and about that bullet being lodged in his brain, and it was forcing him to just constantly relive over and over the moment that his family was butchered, were killed. He's just locked in that moment. There is no other moment for him. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, we know when we get bad news, but that was all you ever felt, was that moment. And it puts it in perspective then, why he does what he does. And I loved it.
Good writing. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was like, okay, so this changed my whole opinion of the character. And then they go and do this a few years later. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Thanks, Marvel.
And I really enjoyed like the John Travolta Punisher. I call it the John Travolta Punisher because he was in it. And they're on an island, and the mob just comes, and it wasn't just his wife and kid. It was almost his entire bloodline that was wiped out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was what, 10 minutes of them just executing and him trying to scramble. Amazing. To try and save them.
Yeah. I don't know. I just it kind of hurts me because I've been lukewarm to the Punisher for so long, right? Since I was a little kid, pretty much since 1979, when I first started getting into comic book. And then finally, after all this time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm starting to like the Punisher. I grabbed a couple of T-shirts. I started reading some of his books. I actually started going into it with the premise that he had this bullet in his brain, right? Even though I don't know if that was comic book canon, I still went into it with that kind of.
Yeah, you will. It added to his character, right?
Absolutely. And then this.
Yeah.
I got suckered. Literally. I got sold a lemon.
I mean, again, you got to bring it back to long-time storytelling. Thank you, WWE. So bring it to WrestleMania 28. Daniel Bryan, Sheamus was the opening match for the World Heavyweight title. And I was very excited. First WrestleMania we went down to Miami. I was very excited to see this match because the first time it was supposed to scheduled, it got canceled for someone got injured. I can't remember. But this was this was going on. And I was excited. And then Sheamus beats him in 16 seconds. Pissed. And then there was a 2-year journey. And the fans were pissed too. And you know, they started buying Daniel Bryan merch. They started, we want Daniel Bryan. Don't jimp him out. So they started making it known that wasn't our Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan's better than this. And next thing you know, WrestleMania 30, he beats Triple H in the opening match. And then he has to fight Randy Orton and Batista in the main event for the title. And he beat all 3 members of Evolution in one night.
Damn.
So long-time storytelling works. This looks pretty final, but never say never.
Nothing is final.
Right? Nothing is final.
Yeah, but the thing is how many times are you going to be kicked in the nuts before you say, you know what, I'm done?
I hear you.
Like they did it with Parker too many times. They've done it with Cap. Now they're doing it with him. I didn't want to talk about like other characters like Tony. Okay, like poor Tony.
Poor Tony. He's a drunk.
I can live with the drunk. It's the other things like freaking
the drunk
Civil
is
War.
a great fallacy. That is what brings us to Marvel, because we know people who have problems with alcoholism and everybody deals with it differently, right?
Absolutely.
And you know, as long as they're trying to continuously be better, you know, that's a struggle. That's a real life struggle that us as humans have, you know, temptations and addictions, right? So that's a great storytelling. Not an attribute, but a crutch that people think they can rely on, and how they get above that is what Marvel is truly about, right? Like Demon in a Bottle is a great story. We watch him fall because of his addictions and demons, right? Literally. And then we watch the rise because and we watch him not only just rise and take it back, but grow as a character, right? It's like, yeah, that's never going to get me again, right? And what we see in modern day comics right now is, they have their fallacies and they're just going to lean into them and use them for evil or selfish purposes, not for evil, for selfish purposes, right? You know, Castle bringing back his family, Spider-Man bringing back Aunt May, who's already on death's door. You know, like, you know, what you'd have a better argument if it was MJ while she was pregnant, you know, than Aunt May, right?
Absolutely,
right? And I think that would hold more weight to it. However, they chose Aunt May. I guess she's more recognizable than an unborn child. We won't go there. We won't go there. We won't go there. No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it.
Jeez Louise.
We're not. No. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's a great point to end on. Anyway,
I'll give you a shovel.
So here's my thing. Okay, you guys already know I don't trust Marvel as much as I love Marvel. Okay, so this is what I've said. I said Marvel is like an ex-girlfriend that broke up with me 20 years ago. Okay. So I adore all the memories that I had up to 20 years ago with Marvel. Okay. So you know what I mean? I have all the pictures. I have all those stories. I have all those good times, and I'll cherish them. But she's moved on to become an OnlyFans whore. So be it. Knock yourself out, right? You two want to subscribe to her OnlyFans account, go ahead. Like, you know, that's fine. I'm done with that, though. You know what I mean? I'm done with that. She's played out. And keep in mind, she broke up with me. I didn't break up with her. Keep that in mind. All right? Man. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how I view Marvel Comics? I love Marvel Comics. I'll never fall out of love with Marvel Comics. I will never give another cent to Marvel Comics. Well, at least current Marvel Comics. I'm not going to. I'm not going to give money to this OnlyFans floozy. It's not going to happen. So, and they can do whatever they want. They can write whatever they want. They can do whatever they want to these characters, right? And they're going to. And so be it. But I'm going to say, guys, there are better ways to enjoy comic books like we're doing right now.
I hear you.
There are better ways to do it. Okay. I don't have to get 12 issues of toilet paper that are called The Punisher and, you know what I mean, to enjoy Marvel Comics. I don't have to. I don't have to put myself through that kind of torment. I just don't. Charmin Extra Strong is much better. So there we go.
Not as colorful.
I'm not, yeah, but I don't have to put myself through that torment. So there we go. Anyway, I'm just saying, guys, you guys know it, okay? You guys know my stance on it. However you guys want to do, you know what I mean? You do you. But and I will always be here to talk about Marvel Comics. Back in the days when things were good, when I had a really good relationship with her, and she was loyal to me. Yeah, we can talk about those days all day long. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I hear you. I get it. I get it. We're seeing it more and more. You know, maybe we're just getting old and grumpy. Who knows?
Right.
You know, damn kids and their rock and roll.
Yeah, it only goes so far though, right? It only can be taken so far. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's only a matter of time before, you know, either that's what people want and they're gonna buy it, or it's all over, right?
Well,
there's only two paths that it's gonna go down, right? And something else will rise and go from there.
Yeah.
and I mean, I don't know
Go ahead.
I don't know what the modern reader is like. I'm not them, so they may enjoy this more. You know, maybe they are going in the right direction, marketing wise, to their future. I don't think
the sales are pointing in that direction. But what I will say, two things can be true, right? We could be getting too old, and they could just be being shit. They could be both.
It can.
Right? Okay, both things can be true. Yes, we're old, get off our lawn, kind of thing, and it can be Marvel is just a big bag of trash right now, and has been for a while. So there you go.
Join us next week.
Yes. When we won't be talking about abortion. Right?
Oh, it almost came out.
Anyway, all right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to plug before we sign off? Thank you, everybody, for watching. It was great. It was amazing. Remember our topics. The other topics were Mining the Avengers #1 for an amazing story about what was his name again?
Loki?
Exponential.
Yes.
Exponential.
Yes. And then, of course, we have finally decided in another topic who the Hulk's greatest foe was. And then, of course, the utter character assassination of the Punisher was what we're finishing on. Anything you want to plug, Dave?
No, I'm good. I think that's pretty awesome. I mean, there's one thing I would like to say is, like, if you enjoy these shows or whatever, you know, and if you want to like join us and be a guest one day, you know, you might be open to reaching out and letting somebody else come on and talk.
Absolutely. Maybe not as old as us, for once.
Maybe
we need that. Maybe we need a younger voice and be like, hey, you know what? You guys are dumb. I did like this Punisher comic, and here's why.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. So we got some information on the bottom ticker if you're interested in Dave's artwork, his phenomenal artistic mad skills. You also get some ways to get in touch with me through X, because I don't tweet, and my email there. Hey, Machete, don't tweet. Okay. Anything for you?
No, I'm good right now.
Farmer Ramp is good.
I'm good right now. Yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate. Due January. First
January. Hold on. January is when the crops come in. Nice.
January is when the crops come in, and knowing my luck, it's going to be the day of the Royal Rumble.
All right.
Yeah, knowing your luck.
Yeah.
Knowing your luck. All right. That'll be a blessing. All right, guys.
Number 30. Gotta go to the hospital.
You at home, thank you for joining us and putting up with this crap. And we'll be doing it again next week. All right.
All right. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.